It's now my honor and pleasure to bring Alex Janzen, the valedictorian at Morro High School, up to the mic.
First of all, I just want to say that I've got a great view from up here. It's not quite time for the ocean sunset that the coast is famous for, but what I can see is an ocean of people who are here to either graduate or to celebrate those who are, and I'm so glad to see both of those groups here. Now, seeing as I'm this year's valedictorian, school policy and tradition say that I have to give a speech and that it has to be thoughtful, encouraging, congratulatory, funny, and use roughly 2.5 cliches. So I thought I'd structure my speech around my cliches and use those to introduce my points. First cliche: if you work hard and don't give up, you can accomplish anything. We all know that this isn't true for everything in life. There are a few things that you just can't accomplish no matter how hard you try at it. For instance, licking your elbow. Or trying to stop someone from licking their elbow after you've told them that they can't. There are also singular achievements, specific things that lots of people work very hard for, but only one or a few people can achieve. For instance, being valedictorian, I'm not necessarily the one who worked the hardest to be here. I did put a lot of effort into getting good grades and doing well in school, but that effort isn't the only thing that got me here. I have my family, my teachers, and even my peers to thank for providing me with tools and resources that I've needed to succeed, for working alongside me, and for creating an environment in which I'm encouraged to strive for excellence. I couldn't have done any of that on my own. In fact, I'd say that the more truly important any achievement is, the less likely that it is that you can do that simply by hard work. But I'd also say that you can't do anything truly important without a lifestyle of working towards your goals. If you want to win an Olympic gold medal, you can't just try really hard at the actual event. You have to build up habits of training, of self-control, of competing at smaller events. Granted, we're not all athletes, but we all have goals. We're not all competing for a specific prize, but we're all trying to achieve our goals. I think that we're all tempted to work towards the effect rather than towards the cause. We're tempted to simplify our sports into events, our classes into tests, and our character into choices. I'll admit, it's a lot of work to build a lifestyle, but it's that much more worth it to have that consistency of character and a precedent of progress. My point is this: do work hard towards your goals, but don't invest everything into a specific single objective. That way, even if you fail at that one objective, you've still made progress. The second cliche I'd like to address is about finding yourself. As a speaker, I could go two different ways with this idea. I could say that I'm thankful for my influences in high school because they've helped me figure out who I really am. Or I could say that as we graduate and move on to independent adult life, now is our chance to experiment with life, mess up, and find out who we really are. But what does it mean to find yourself anyway? I'd say it refers to an identity that you can feel comfortable using as the basis for your interactions with others. So I question, is this identity something that you've had all along and just now find? Or is it something that you consciously choose? I'd suggest it's this latter one, because I can personally think of several very different identities that I could have ended up with, and I can tell you that several of them would have been very different ways, but still I would have considered them truly myself. I'd also suggest that by searching and experimenting with life in order to try to find out who you are, you're making choices about how you search and how you experiment and how you look for yourself. And these choices will directly affect which you'll end up with. So do establish your identity, but when you're contemplating who you want to be, don't settle for the first one that looks nice or easy, but consider how it's likely to turn out later on in life. And now for that last half cliche, in which I'll be using a dictionary definition to make transitioning to a new point slightly less random. The term valedictory, from which we get valedictorian, is a noun. It refers to any farewell address or speech. So, this last part of my speech is my farewell to my classmates, this class of 2014. Many of you have seen how I've lived for the past 4 years or more. I hope that you've seen that I've served God above all, that I've faced opposition for being a Christian, and yet I've stood up for my beliefs, both in public and in person. Today, as we graduate together, we're all heading our own separate ways, and I have no idea what awaits us. But I do know that, wherever I go at least, it'll continue to be difficult for me to be a Christian. But I don't count even my own life as worth turning away from what I believe to be the truth. And I have lived a life that reflects what I've claimed to be true. And I hope that you've seen that. I've given of my time and energy to serve many of you, usually by helping you understand subjects from French conjugations to the history of the Bible to variable separable differential equations. I serve you this way, not because you've earned it, but because you're worth it. I can't say that I've always given you the selflessness that you are worth, but I hope that I've set an example of leading by supporting. As you go through life, you will follow many other leaders, but beware of the ones who don't have the best in mind for those that they lead. I'm not saying to compare them against me, because I haven't been a leader for all of you, and I certainly have fallen short in most areas. But what I'm saying is this: choose people to influence you that will help you build a lifestyle of working towards your goals, and who will encourage you to choose your identity well. If you do this, you can in turn be that influence to others, and in doing so, help change lives. Now let's get out there and change the world.